The petrodollar is actually a device invented by Kissinger and Nixon.
U.S. President Richard Nixon sent his Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger to Saudi Arabia for a secret meeting.
That meeting took place on a battleship called the USS Quincy, and very few records were kept of that meeting. But Roosevelt promised the King of Saudi Arabia weapons and protection in exchange for the United States to have the exclusive right to develop oil from Saudi Arabia using dollars. Meaning, if countries wanted to trade the most important commodity of all, oil, they needed to get their hands on dollars. And from that point on, oil would be priced in USD. And if a country tried to get their hands on oil without using dollars, that country historically needed more freedom in their life.
Yeah, needed more freedom in their lives. That's how that goes. Oh, we need to free you. We need to free you. That's why when I'm looking at Venezuela and celebrating this, I'm like, okay, they're about to give you some more freedom. This goes back to a deal Henry Kissinger made with Saudi Arabia in 1974. Okay. This is about the petrodollar system that has kept America the dominant economic power for 50 years. Venezuela has 303 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, the largest on earth, more than Saudi Arabia, 20% of the entire world's oil. Venezuela was actively selling that oil in Chinese yuan, not dollars. In 2018, Venezuela announced it would free itself from the dollar. Now, we all know what happens to dictators and countries that go against the dollar. Bad things happen to them. Okay? They started accepting the yuan, euros, rubles, and anything but dollars for oil. They were petitioning to join BRICS. They were building direct payment channels with China that bypassed SWIFT entirely. And they were sitting on enough oil to fund de-dollarization for decades. Okay. Now, the petrodollar is why you hear a lot of this. Okay. It's not an actual thing. It's an agreement. The petrodollar is an agreement between the U.S. and Saudi. Okay. In 1974, Kissinger made a deal with Saudi Arabia. All oil sold globally must be priced in U.S. dollars. Okay. In exchange, America provides military protection. And this single agreement created artificial demand for dollars worldwide. Every country on earth needs dollars to buy oil. This lets America print unlimited money while other countries work for it. It funds the military, the welfare state, the deficit spending. The petrodollar is more important to U.S. hegemony than aircraft carriers. And there's a pattern of what happens to leaders who challenge it. In 2000, Saddam Hussein announces Iraq will sell oil in euros instead of the dollars. 2003, invaded regime change. Iraq's oil immediately switched back to dollars. Saddam is lynched. The weapons of mass destruction were never found because they never existed. In 2009, Gaddafi proposes a gold-backed African currency called the gold dinar for oil trade. I remember because I was buying some dinar. I remember buying dinar because I'm like, oh, it's going to be lit. I didn't think they were going to take the man out and whatever. Okay. Hillary Clinton's own leaked emails confirmed this was the primary reason for intervention. Email quote, this gold was intended to establish a pan-African currency based on the Libyan golden dinar. 2011, NATO bombs Libya. Gaddafi sodomized and murder. Libya now has open slave markets. Okay. We came, we saw, he died. Clinton laughed on camera. The gold dinar died with him. And now Maduro, with 5 times more oil than Saddam and Gaddafi combined, actively selling in yuan, building payment systems outside dollar control, petitioning to join BRICS, partner with China, Russia, and Iran, the 3 countries leading global de-dollarization. Okay. Challenge the petrodollar, you get regime changed. Okay. Stephen Miller, U.S. Homeland Security Advisor, literally said it out loud 2 weeks ago. American sweat, ingenuity, and toil created the oil industry in Venezuela. Its tyrannical expropriation was the largest recorded theft of American wealth and property. Once again, the International Tribunal said there's no theft. Just pay this fine. That's it. That's all. Okay. They're claiming Venezuela oil belongs to America because U.S. companies developed it 100 years ago. By this logic, every nationalized resource in history was theft. Okay. The petrodollar is already dying. Russia sells oil in rubles and yuan since Ukraine. Saudi Arabia is openly discussing yuan settlements. Iran has been trading in non-dollar currencies for years. China built SIPs, their own alternative to SWIFT, with 4,800 banks in 185 countries. BRICS is actively building payment systems that bypass the dollar entirely. The M-Bridge project lets central banks settle trades instantly in local currencies. Venezuela joining BRICS with 303 billion barrels of oil would accelerate this exponentially. That is what the invasion is really about. Okay. Venezuela accounts for less than 1% of U.S. cocaine. Okay. There's zero evidence Maduro runs a terror organization. The U.S. supports Saudi Arabia, which has 0 elections. All right. This is about maintaining a 50-year-old agreement that lets America print money while the world works for it. All right. Russia, China, and Iran are already denouncing this as armed aggression. China is Venezuela's biggest oil customer. They're losing billions. BRICS nations are watching a country get invaded for trading outside the dollar. Every nation considering de-dollarization just got the message. Challenge the dollar and we will bomb you. Okay. That message might accelerate de-dollarization, not stop it, because now every country in the global south knows what happens if you threaten dollar hegemony. Okay. And they're realizing the only protection is to move faster. So January 3rd, 2026, Venezuela invaded, Maduro captured. January 3rd, 1990, Panama invaded, Noriega captured. 36 years apart, 3 + 6 is 9. For all my numerology people, play with the numbers if you like. Almost to the day. Same playbook, okay? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. What happens next? Trump's press conference at Mar-a-Lago sets the narrative. U.S. oil companies are already lined up. Politico reported that they've been approached about returning to Venezuela, okay? The opposition will be as installed. Oil will flow in dollars again. Venezuela becomes another Iraq, another Libya, okay? So, when China has enough economic leverage to retaliate, when BRICS controls 40% of global GDP and says no more dollars. Okay. Okay. Make of it what you will.